Good evening, I'm Ryan Graham. Thank you for joining us. The Norwest Community Health Centers hosted their 23rd annual Fetal Alcohol Spectrum Disorder Conference this past week with around 180 people in attendance. People traveled from all over the country to attend the event, including doctors, professors, social workers, and parents of those with FASD. Reagan Johnson reports.
This year, the conference focused on the connection between fetal alcohol spectrum disorder and the criminal justice system, making an effort to understand the relationship between the two. 1.5 million Canadians are diagnosed with FASD. This is more people than autism spectrum disorder, cerebral palsy, and Down syndrome combined. According to the John Howard Society, 60% of people with FASD will find themselves in trouble with the law, a rate 30 times higher than the general public. Youth with FASD are 19 times more likely to end up in custody. And at any given time, 10 to 23% of individuals in the justice system have AFSD. The goal of this event is to understand those links and how to help reduce these saddening statistics. Throughout the conference, many professionals presented, sharing information and resources to the attendees.
I think people with FASD are really under-recognized and under-supported, and as a result, there are a lot of unjust outcomes in relation to the criminal legal system, and it's really incumbent on all of us to help change that outcome for fair outcomes and treatment for this vulnerable group of people.
We're seeing a lot of approaches like FASD-specific courts, navigators within the justice system, alternatives to incarceration that are really effective for people with FASD. Those are the kinds of things that we really need to support and encourage.
The organizer of the event, Maureen Parks, discussed the importance of this conference.
The support is necessary. Everything that people do counts. The goal is to help individuals be successful, and there's many ways of doing that.
Millions of Canadians, including the patients and those around them, are impacted by FASD. The people here say the greatest thing someone can do to raise awareness for this cause and to support those affected is to learn about it. Reagan Johnson, TBT News.
Mark Carney needs to, quote, fight like hell when he goes to Washington Tuesday for a meeting with Donald Trump, according to Ontario Premier Doug Ford. As American tariffs continue to dog the Canadian economy, the Prime Minister is facing pressure to find relief for the hardest hit sectors. But as CTV's Colton Prail reports, some of those impacted are watching the trip without high hopes.
Protect Canadian jobs! At the Stellantis auto plant in Brampton, a simple message.
Open the damn plant!
Closed since January 2024 for a retooling process that was stopped this February under the threat of Donald Trump's tariffs. Roughly 3,000 workers here have been left in limbo.
This has been difficult waiting because we're uncertain. We don't know if we're going to be coming back.
Doug Ford is calling on Ottawa to find an answer for Canada's ailing auto sector when Donald Trump and Mark Carney meet in Washington on Tuesday.
You better fight like hell, don't roll over, and keep fighting.
Sources in the federal government say they're cautiously optimistic there could be movement on the sectoral tariffs to steel and aluminum. But some aren't as optimistic, arguing the full impact of the 50% metal tariffs won't be felt until the fall.
As it hits the price tag for pickup trucks and goods in the U.S., it will create a more conducive context to reach an agreement.
The U.S. has shown little wiggle room on its sectoral tariffs. On steel and aluminum, Japan saw tariffs dropped to 15%. The UK signed a deal at 25% with talks to introduce a quota system, and months after a deal was signed, the European Union is still paying the full 50% tariff.
A low tariff might actually still be bad for the Canadian economy, still creates that pressure for a lot of those steel companies, secondary manufacturing companies, to simply pick up and go to the States where there's zero tariffs.
As Canada and the U.S. both prepare for the CUSMA review next year, some in the auto and aluminum sector say it's important to enter with a clean slate. They hope Tuesday's meeting can set the tone for just that. Colton Prail, CTV News, Ottawa.
Grade 7 students from Bishop E.Q. Jennings School were paying tribute to fallen members of the Lake Superior Regiment motor this past week by cleaning the regiment's monument and placing handmade clay poppies on its Bren gun carrier. The project, led by artist Allison Chassé, is part of a broader national initiative called Remembrance Every Day, Lest We Forget, Let us create. The students helped paint almost 200 clay poppies crafted by Chassé during a workshop at Port Arthur Branch 5 Legion. The kids then cleaned the monument at Hillcrest Park and placed the poppies to honor the regiment. Organizers hope the project encourages Canadians to reflect on the meaning of remembrance, not only on November 11th, but every day of the year. Chassé says it was incredibly important to have the students take part.
So I think it's important to teach students about history from a very early age, and I think it's important that they take part in events like this, especially towards remembrance, so that we don't forget.
I think it's very important. The youth of today need to remember what their grandfathers or their great-grandfathers done, whether it was World War I, World War II, Korea, or relatives that were in Afghanistan or present day. And doing something like this gives them that spirit of, yes, we are remembering those soldiers that were killed in action, and that it's something good for them.
After Remembrance Day, the poppies will be sold, with all proceeds going to the Legion to support local veterans. Well, the Thunder Bay District has seen its share of crime stories, and now the public library is bringing some of the most shocking ones back to light. Waverley Library brought out dozens of residents this past week for a special drop-in program, which saw the library's research department presenting local true crime stories. The event dove into 2 medical-themed cases from the city's past. The first case was presented normally, while the second story had audience participation and was treated like a choose-your-own adventure. Library technician Derek Gradner says the event is a way to promote local history, as people seem to gravitate towards true crime.
So I've worked in the research department for a while now, and a lot of people do obituaries, looking at genealogy, but the other thing that people but gravitate towards is true crime and accidents. For some reason, don't ask me why, they just do. So we're trying to implement true crime into our programming.
The research department will be presenting the same 2 cases at Mary J. O. Black Library this Tuesday at 6 p.m. As part of Lakehead University's 60th anniversary celebrations and the Canadian Institute of Forestry's annual conference, a tree planting ceremony was held at the university. The event featured remarks from federal and provincial ministers, a traditional Indigenous blessing, the 60th anniversary Lakehead University Awards of the Faculty of Natural Resources Management, and the tree planting of a commemorative tree. President of Vice Chancellor of Lakehead University, Jillian Siddall, says community members can join the various celebrations planned for the university's 60th anniversary.
What we did today was plant a tree, and it's also in conjunction with Lakehead University's 60th anniversary. So we're really proud and excited that this year is our 60th anniversary, and we've got a number of events planned to celebrate that and note that and reach out to the community and say thank you to the community, and hope that the community will come onto campus and join us for some of the events that we've got planned.
I think we picked Thunder Bay this year for our conference because we knew that it was tying in with the 60th anniversary.
Yes, I'm very proud to have this ceremony, and every place a forest every ceremony is always tree planting. So,
forestry is a cornerstone of our economies here in northwestern Ontario, in northern Ontario in particular, and we're so happy to be able to continue to work with Lakehead University in a partnership that really advances the sector and allows it to continue to grow and strive.
Thunder Bay residents joined the thousands of other Canadians across the country with the common goal of changing the future of breast cancer forever. It was the 29th annual CIBC Run for the Cure, which helps raise awareness and funds for breast cancer research and support. Emma Chilton reports.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and over 350 residents came out to the Royal Canadian Legion track for the run Sunday morning to show their support for those who are affected by breast cancer and those who may be going through breast cancer treatment. Participants were able to run, walk, or roll to raise awareness and funds for breast cancer research. This year, the Thunder Bay branch has raised over $83,000, with that number continuing to grow. Bonnie Tidefronte, run director for the CIBC Run for the Cure, says she is thankful for all the participants that came out alongside their family and friends.
Today was one of our best runs yet. I've been doing this for 15 years. We had over 350 people register, which is a record. We've been under 300 for the last 5 years, so this is awesome. We had great weather, and we are currently 25% over our year-end goal. So it's amazing, just amazing how many people have come out.
Tidefronte says this year the group has recently managed to advocate for getting breast screening starting at age 40 versus 50.
The Canadian Cancer Society has been a huge advocate in helping to push that through legislation and with the government and getting their support. And so it's now going all across Canada. I'm sure most communities will take that on as a wonderful thing. The earlier we detect this, the better.
If you would like to donate or learn more, you can go to online to CIBCRunforthecure.com. Emma Chilton, TBT News.